Welcome to Dog Facts and Fun, where every fact hides a story of love. Dogs, playful, headstrong, full of life, and above all, loyal. Our emotional bond with them stretches back thousands of years, and remarkably, it's still unbroken today. Through millennia of evolution, dogs have become perfectly attuned to us. Their instincts, intelligence, and empathy make them not just companions, but true partners in life. Whether helping us survive in the wild or comforting us in silence, dogs have evolved alongside humanity, mirroring our emotions, understanding our gestures, and even sensing our health. Their extraordinary senses can detect diseases, emotions, or even danger long before we can. For some people, a dog is more than a pet. It's their last glimmer of hope. A friend, a healer, and a soul that listens when no one else will. But why are dogs so loyal? How did they become our perfect companions, capable of reading our eyes, our voices, even our hearts? What is the true secret behind this unbreakable friendship between humans and dogs? In a small town in northern Norway, about 240 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle, live the Greenland dogs, the living inheritors of the ancient wolf's genome. They are among the oldest dog breeds in the world. Here, humans and dogs still share a life untouched by modernity. I immigrated from Hamburg 30 years ago, says B. Clow, a husky farmer. When I first started offering guided tours, my main goal wasn't business, it was simply to be outside surrounded by nature and the dogs. It's a bit like living the life of a quiet farmer, not seeing much of the world, but feeling at peace with it. He smiles and adds, I may not have traveled far, but I can honestly say I've found one of the most beautiful places on Earth. It all began when B was hiking across Norway searching for solitude, a life away from the noise of society. A Greenland dog joined him on that journey, not just pulling his gear, but keeping him company. Without that dog, B admits he would have felt unbearably lonely. Greenland dogs are perfectly designed for life in the far north. Their thick double coats protect them from temperatures as low as -40 degrees Celsius. They are sled dogs through and through, strong, enduring, and deeply connected to their team. B's daily routine depends entirely on the weather. In winter, he spends over 100 days outdoors, traveling across the tundra. With his dogs each day, they can run up to 60 kilometers. It's during these long journeys that the bond between man and dog becomes unshakable. The lead dog, the one running at the front of the team, is the key to everything. He's the one B communicates with directly. He always wants to do everything right. B explains. Like all dogs, he wants to please his owner. But that trust must go both ways. He has to know that my commands will never lead him into danger. And if he hesitates, I have to trust his instincts too. Out here, your dog is your life insurance, and you are his. The highlands of northern Norway are vast and silent, endless white tundra covered in snow for more than half the year. What is now B's passion was once essential for survival. For thousands of years, sled dogs and humans have relied on each other, from Siberian nomads to the Inuit of North America and the people of Greenland. In these frozen lands, dogs were more than helpers, they were lifelines. They pulled sleds across the ice to connect distant settlements, carrying goods, food, and hope. They made trade and survival possible. Even back then, these dogs showed remarkable social intelligence and teamwork. Those same traits have endured to this day. Sled dogs are the only working animals in the world you can't force to obey. B says with quiet pride, they work because they want to, out of joy, out of passion, out of the love of running together. He pauses, looking out over the snow. When I'm out there with them, watching them run, hearing nothing but the wind, I feel a freedom few people ever experience. We're a team bound by trust and joy. That's what makes this life so special. In the rolling hills of the English-Scottish border lies the home of the world's most famous herding dog, the Border Collie. For more than 50 years, Derek Scrimgeour has lived in the mountains of Cumbria, where he breeds and trains these remarkable dogs. He also runs a sheep farm depending on his dogs every single day. The moment I started working with a Border Collie, Derek recalls, I realized this was a completely different kind of dog, intelligent, eager, and driven to please. The way they work with sheep, it's like magic. Compared to humans, dogs have a much wider field of vision, nearly 250 degrees, allowing them to sense movement all around them. This makes them masters of herding, constantly aware of both their flock and their handler. Communication is everything. Derek's lead dog, Lynn, listens closely to every word, every tone. Short, precise commands guide her actions. Come by, lie down, walk up. Each sound carries meaning, and she responds instantly. These dogs can run half a mile away, take commands left or right, and bring the sheep exactly where they need to go. No one takes direction quite like a dog. Derek laughs. If someone gave me as many instructions as I give my dogs, I'd quit after 20 minutes. But they'll work all day, focused, open-minded, always trying to help. The ancestors of Border Collies lived in England and Scotland in the 16th century. Shepherds noticed their natural herding ability and bred them to refine those instincts. On vast, open pastures, these dogs became essential, guiding hundreds of sheep across miles of rugged terrain. Even today, shepherds rely on their dogs completely. From hundreds of meters away, Derek can still communicate with Lynn through a few words or a whistle. There's total trust, a silent understanding built through years of working together. He teaches his dogs to channel their natural hunting behavior, stalking, circling, targeting, but always with control and purpose. That instinct, once used for hunting prey, now serves teamwork and precision. For me, Derek says softly, these dogs are not just helpers. They're partners. Every day, every minute, I love working with them. And sometimes you meet one that's truly special, a little genius in dog terms. My Lynn, she's one of those. She was born to work. He smiles, watching his dog move effortlessly across the field. It's like she's done this all before. Even today, around the world, shepherds and herders rely on these loyal working dogs, proof that cooperation between humans and dogs is one of the most successful partnerships in all of history. In the quiet countryside of Styria, Austria, a new chapter in the story of our partnership with dogs is unfolding. Here, science and instinct work hand in hand as dogs use their extraordinary sense of smell to save human lives. Franz Hugel still remembers the day that changed everything. During his regular medical checkups, nothing unusual was found. But it was his dogs Rocky and Lucy who first detected that something was wrong. They had sensed the presence of prostate cancer long before doctors could. I wasn't surprised, Franz says. We all know how amazing dogs are. They can find drugs, weapons, explosives. So why shouldn't they be able to find cancer? Those dogs saved his life. Their trainer, Wolfgang Gleitner, runs the world's first cancer detection canine unit, a small farmhouse laboratory outside Vienna. A former police dog handler, he started the project more than 10 years ago, driven by a simple idea: if dogs can detect bombs, maybe they can detect tumors too. The entire operation runs on donations. Every week they receive small tubes from hospitals filled with breath urine or saliva samples from patients. The dogs are then trained to identify the subtle scent that marks the presence of cancer cells. Cancer cells emit special odor molecules, slightly alkaline compounds that can be detected in breath or urine samples. Dogs have about 220 million olfactory cells, roughly 40 times more than humans, allowing them to sense even a single molecule among a trillion. Each training session is meticulous. Wolfgang carefully places a set of samples, some from healthy individuals, some from cancer patients, into metal holders. Every dog must sniff each one thoroughly and signal when it detects the distinct scent of disease. Each dog has its own unique way of signaling sitting down, lying, or stopping to stare. Every sniff could mean a life, Wolfgang says, so we can't afford mistakes. To ensure accuracy, every test is repeated 5 times with 5 different dogs. Only after at least 15 consistent positive results is a sample confirmed. Every surface is disinfected between tests to prevent contamination. Under the supervision of medical professionals, Wolfgang's team has documented over 2,200 cancer cases and an astonishing 93% accuracy rate. "The dogs are my partners," he says proudly. "This is my life's work. And when we get the call that another life was saved, it makes everything worth it." The next step is to take this method from the lab into real-world hospitals. Dogs like Pina, a Labrador, are now being trained to detect cancer directly on patients. In one exercise, Pina first sniffs a known cancer sample, then examines a volunteer's skin to locate the same scent. This approach could become revolutionary in early detection, especially for skin cancer. Scientists still don't fully understand how dogs process scents on such a complex level. Even today, their olfactory world remains beyond our comprehension, a living reminder that in some ways, dogs can do what human technology still cannot. Dogs don't just save lives with their noses, they heal hearts too. Their empathy allows them to sense our moods, fears, and loneliness often before we even speak. One of the most touching examples is Pina, an Australian shepherd trained as a service dog. Her owner, Carlotta, was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome at the age of 13. For most of her teenage years, everyday life was overwhelming. Crowds, new places, conversations with strangers all triggered anxiety and withdrawal. "I just couldn't deal with people," she says softly. "I never knew what to expect, and that made me scared of everything." But then, Pina entered her life. With Pina by her side, Carlotta slowly began to rediscover the world. When they walk through the city, people naturally give space and kindness, noticing Pina's service vest. That small change makes all the difference. Carlotta feels protected, respected, and seen. "Pina helps me every day," she says. "She's always there for me. With her, I'm never afraid, because I know she understands me." Thanks to Pina, Carlotta can now study live independently and has even found love. But most importantly, she smiles again. Dogs are masters of empathy. They can literally read our faces, interpreting emotions just as humans do. Scientists discovered that dogs focus on the right side of our face, the side that expresses emotion most clearly. It's the same instinct humans use when reading each other's feelings. And, remarkably, they only do this with us, not with other dogs. They've learned to understand human emotion as if they were one of us. This ability to read us goes beyond empathy, it's intelligence. Take Mario, a well-trained family dog. When his owner places food in front of him and says, "Wait," Mario obeys, but he never stops watching. He constantly checks whether she's still looking. Only when he feels unobserved does he inch closer to the bowl. Mario is not just following rules, he's assessing her awareness, weighing consequences, and adapting his behavior. That's cognitive intelligence, and proof of how well dogs understand our perspective. At the same time, dogs continue to amaze scientists with how deeply they can learn and communicate. In South Carolina, Professor John Pilley worked with his border collie chaser, who learned the names of over 1,000 objects and even understood basic grammar. Chaser wasn't just memorizing words, Pilly explained. She knew meaning, she understood what each command required. When told, take Powder Puff to Peanut, Chaser would carry one toy to another, correctly showing she understood syntax, not just words. Her achievements proved what many dog owners already believe. Their dogs are far more intelligent than we think. Beyond intelligence, there's something else, something we feel but can't measure. When a dog looks into your eyes, both of you release oxytocin, the love hormone that bonds a mother and her child. It's why we melt at their gaze and why they too feel joy when we smile. Those gentle eyes evolved over millennia, were nature's way of creating connection. They remind us that love, loyalty, and trust, the very emotions that define humanity, also live inside them. In Atlanta, Georgia, an unusual partnership is transforming lives inside a county jail. Here, inmates are given a second chance through dogs. The program, called Operation Second Chance, brings shelter dogs, many of them abandoned or on death row, into the prison. Their inmates care for them day and night, training them until they are ready to be adopted. For Michael Pomeroy, his dog Roxy, a pit bull mix, has been his constant companion for 3 years. Jail kind of takes you away from your family, he says quietly. You stop hearing from people. Letters stop coming. Calls stop. But with Roxy here, it's like, I've got my best friend in the world with me right in this cell. Sometimes I don't want to talk to anyone, but I always want to hang out with my dog. When he returns from court, sometimes with bad news, Roxy is always there. She doesn't judge, doesn't question, doesn't leave. She just sits beside him, offering the kind of comfort words can't give. The shelter providing these dogs is just around the corner. Sheriff Brad Daugherty, who started the program, focuses on saving dogs that are hardest to adopt, the old, the injured, the forgotten. He gently holds a small white poodle named Charlotte. She's about 11 years old, he says. She's got an abscessed tooth, but otherwise she's okay. It breaks my heart to think how many dogs end up here. But when I see them being loved, cared for, and nurtured by these inmates, when I see them transform from victims into family, it makes it all worth it. He pauses, then adds, the same goes for the inmates. Many of these men have never known love or respect in their lives. And these dogs, they give them both. Inside the jail, something remarkable happens. The once noisy corridors are now calm. The inmates, many with troubled pasts, find peace through the responsibility of caring for another life. The dogs bring a kind of quiet, says Brad. You'd think it would be loud, all those dogs barking, but it's not. It's peaceful, clean. Everyone behaves better. It's healing. Over 400 dogs have found homes since the program began in 2010. But for the inmates, letting go is never easy. I'd cry my eyes out, Michael admits. I've seen grown men lock themselves in their cells when their dog gets adopted. It's like losing a child. They don't just train these dogs, they love them. He glances down at Roxy, who rests her head on his knee. She knows I'm talking about her. He smiles. This bond between humans and dogs is something truly unique. It's built on trust, forgiveness, and unconditional love. Dogs don't judge us for our mistakes. They don't care about who we were, only who we are with them. And now science confirms what every dog owner has always known. When a dog looks at you, their brain responds in the same regions as ours do, for love and attachment. So yes, your dog really does love you. That's the secret behind our unbreakable friendship. When everything else falls apart, when life feels too heavy, remember this: you're never truly alone. Because somewhere, there's a dog who still waits for you, who still believes in you, and who still loves you, no matter what.